Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? You may remember, at the end of the last episode, I tagged on just a little clip with a subtitle on it showing you what happened just after I finished doing the actual recording, or finished doing the episode anyway. I was still recording when it happened. The truck hit a stone, or actually it was the mobile fuel tank that hit a stone, and it just exploded. It went kaboom, and it completely crashed my game. I was unable to save it, so I restarted, and I've done that again. So things is looking a little bit different to how they were when I finished up because of that. It's not hugely different. I've gone and I have got the mobile fuel tank. I've changed the position of the machines over there, the two wash plants together. I changed their position because a few people pointed out that the spoil heaps that come off of them, having them the way that they were, is not going to allow the spoil heaps to come off of them. But it turns out that the new way that I've got them doesn't allow the spoil heaps to come off of them either, so it doesn't really matter. And let's just remove that one there, and we'll go and get the other fuel can that I've got over here. They've done the update, and now when you're driving around, if you have items in the back of the truck, they don't rattle around anymore. They just stay locked still, and I think that's what stops it from moving. You can see they've removed the side panels off of the pickup, which is actually, I prefer that. It's easy. You can put stuff in over the side of the truck as well now, which does make it a lot easier. When I was bringing that one and that one back, I tested it, and I ran into the same rock. The mobile fuel tank exploded off of the pickup and disappeared, and the pickup sort of danced around like crazy for a while, with the tailgate moving around a lot and the bonnet as well. I think actually you call it a hood in the States. But yeah, that went sort of flying around all over the place. It sort of just did this craziness just for a second or two, and then it settled down again, with the fuel tank having disappeared. And that turned up over here on the claim, so I couldn't do anything with it. I had to reset it, just reset its position on the claim, and I still couldn't hitch into it, but that's another known bug at the moment. And if you find that you've reset something and you can't hitch into it, it doesn't work, simply save the game at that point and then exit, and then it will work. And that's what I did, and it worked fine. So now I've got no problems with it. It works absolutely perfectly. And I'm just refilling this one. So I've been working hard. I've done a whole load of stuff there. They've changed the price of buckets at last. So I'm sort of glad that they did the update, because now that they've changed the price of the buckets, they're $5 each instead of $20. So I went and bought 8 buckets. Now, you remember the end of the last episode, I bought 4. Well, this time, when I went back, I actually bought 8 of them. So I've got a few more than I had at the end of the last episode. And so I've got a whole load of them down there. I've done a load of digging. And like I said, I put those in a slightly different position. So it still works, it's still fine, although I'm not actually getting any spoil heaps coming off of any of these anyway. And all of this where we're here now, this is stuff that we can dig up. So it doesn't really... I'm guessing that you don't always get a spoil heap coming out. There's a little bit of a spoil heap there. But what I have noticed is this heap here seems to be growing. And yeah, it's just gotten bigger and bigger. So I'm guessing that when you're digging, when you're using the mobile wash plants, if the spoil that's coming out of there doesn't have anywhere to go, it actually sticks it on that heap over there, because that is definitely bigger than when I first started. So that seems to be where the waste goes. It just kind of puts it over there out of the way, which is actually a really cool little feature. We'll just see, that one needs to be switched on. And we want to come up here and we want to switch this one on here. There we go, and we'll switch the generator on as well, so get that Jenny running. There we go. Okay, Jennies are all on, and pumps are all on. We go and switch these two on as well, and put that one on there. So the water runs down out of that one, and you can see they're both joined together. I've got the hose and the cable sort of running in underneath the machines out to this side. And then the excess earth comes down here, but it doesn't actually accumulate there. It sticks it on a heap over there, which is very neat and tidy and awesome. I don't want to go in there because I'm just going to get stuck. That's the great big heap that I've been slowly digging with this big digger. and it's been working absolutely wonderfully. I've been having a great time doing this. It's worked really well. I've been really pleased with it. Oh, actually, I've got one bucket that's completely full there, so I want to do that first. I do have to be careful getting in and out of this thing now, because I've reached a point where I'm getting close to actually undermining myself, and I don't really want to do that. Oh, that's another full one. I've been carrying them down here and placing them with our with the extra heap. So this is my plan today, is I'm just going to fill up the last couple of buckets, and then we're going to stick all of that lot through the wave table. Well, the magnetite separator and the wave table. I am first, before I start that, going to go and get a... oh, there's another bucket full there. I'm going to go and get a magnetite trailer from the shop, and we're going to bring that one back. And then we're going to do all of this, and hopefully we'll get a bit of magnetite that we can go and sell as well. $97,000 is our next target. That's the next thing that we want to do, because my plan next is to get the wheel loader. And I've seen someone actually doing... You know, I talked about it at the end of last episode, was using a wheel loader to fill this thing up, rather than using an excavator. So I've seen some pictures of someone doing that on the Facebook page, and so I'm really looking forward to being able to do that as well. So we'll just carry on doing a little bit of digging here. And yeah, basically they've been doing tier 2.5 just the same as what we've got here. They've got 2 mobile wash plants, and it's worked really well. It does seem to be a really good setup, and you don't have to spend the full $300,000 getting your wash plant, not the wash, yeah, the big wash plant, getting all of that one all set up. That one costs a huge amount of money. I know that a lot of it is actually the wheel loader, the $97,000 for the wheel loader. However, I think that, let's just put most of that over that side. I do have to... It's difficult to make sure that you see everything, and it doesn't seem to spread it between the two quite as well with this setup as it did previously. I think maybe I should go back to the other one, except that this setup here is going to be easier for the wheel loader to access. I mean, I might actually have to refill some of this heap that we got here. Some of the hole, so that the wheel loader can get in and out. But the wheel loader looks, from what I've seen, different pictures and that, it does seem that the wheel loader is actually pretty good for being able to like level out the ground and get itself something decent for working off of, like leveling a platform to work from. So I would like to try and do that if I can. We've got 1% left to go into that bucket, so I'm going to try and put not too much in there, and change the bucket over as quickly as I can. There we go. That's actually on the wrong side. I'll put it over there. Right, okay, let's leap out very quickly, and you're already full, so let's grab you, drop you down, and oh, it's the very last bucket as well. Ideal. So we grab that, and we'll run round and put that in so we don't waste too much. And oh, it's already wasted. Grab that one. I don't want that all spilling out on the ground, so we run down here and put this one down, and we'll just fill up those last 2 buckets. Then we can head off to town and get the magnetite trailer. Oop. The only bucket that has tipped over out of all of those. And once we've got the magnetite trailer, we can come back. I am thinking that if I get the wheel loader, I might move it from up here. I might put it back down, put the 2 wash plants down there somewhere on the edge, so that I can sort of work from the edge of the claim with the wheel loader and just sort of work into all of the dirt. I think that might be an easier way to do it. I'm not quite sure yet. I haven't quite decided, and we'll see. We'll see how it works out. Ooh, I'm pressing the wrong buttons there. I'm not actually using that thumb at all. I guess that you do want to use the thumb a bit later on when you're getting the or what do you call it, when you're putting the mobile, not the mobile wash plant, the other wash plant in place, because you actually have to use this excavator to put it all in position. And I really like the fact that you do actually have to do that. And sometimes it's not very easy to get this one to all line up properly. It's because there is a bit more of a gap between here, between the 2 of them. It's not huge, it's not big enough to cause any problems, but there is a slight gap there, and it's also quite easy to misjudge exactly where you're tipping the dirt. Now that, well, no, that still wasn't exactly in the middle. I still needed to bring it over just a tiny little bit. I mean, I know that I'm wasting some pay dirt, but quite frankly, I think we've got so much that we don't really need to worry about that. It's not going to be the end of the world, and I have noticed it's one thing that you cannot do with this game is you can't like bulldoze a layer of dirt. Ooh, I'm going the wrong way there. Like if I get to there, it's not pushing because there's a tiny little bit of dirt that's left. It's not actually pushing it round. And that's one aspect of the physics of dirt that I don't particularly like at the moment. I'm guessing that that's just sort of part of the core game, and it's not something that's going to be able to be fixed for this particular edition of the game. So I'm hoping that Gold Rush 2, that would be something that would be fixed. So we'd be able to move the dirt a little bit more naturally than what we can at the moment. Because at the moment, you just don't have that sort of natural movement of the dirt. Once your bucket is full, that's it. You cannot do anything else. So if you're doing like a full extension out there, I can't scrape the earth down into the bottom of the pit and then scoop it up from that point. It is a little bit weird doing that, but you very quickly get used to it. So it's not really any problem at all. Let me just bring that one down. So we've got one bucket already at 50%, but because I keep dumping most of the stuff in that one over there, the bucket on this side is still only 7%. So if we can actually get this lined up evenly, just for once, go on, we can do this. Over this way a bit more, maybe. Nope, I still didn't get it. I still dumped most of it over on the other one. And, I mean, I really do, the idea that the, all that spoil heap, I mean, yes, technically, teleporting it over to somewhere else on the claim isn't particularly realistic, but I really do like it, because it means that all of this earth that is going through isn't being wasted. There is some that goes through that can like get dumped through the machine again, and it's not being wasted. We're not losing anything at all by doing it this way. That was actually bang in the middle. That was absolutely spot on. That's brilliant. Now that we've run out of buckets and the other bucket is almost full, I finally figured out how to do it. Yeah, okay, that's just great. And yeah, see, it's also difficult because I can't actually see what I'm doing in here at all. So it's pure guesswork for a lot of it. Although to be fair, when you're digging down really deep and you sort of your bucket is underneath you like this, when you're actually doing this in real life, it's pretty much the same. You're on guesswork by that point. So sometimes you bring up full bucketfuls and sometimes you don't. And it's literally just that. You do go through the same sort of guesswork. Now, I could move the camera around, but then I wouldn't be able to see the angle. I wouldn't be able to see the wash plant very well, so it's not... We won't worry about it. I'll just go and get that little... There's a lump there. Oh, I missed. I keep slowly undermining myself as time goes by. Just a little bit more, each scoop. Eventually, I'm going to end up in that hole, aren't I? Just lift that up a little bit and bring it there, I think. Yep, there we go. Perfect. Both of them lined up. Right now I need to concentrate on filling up the one on this side because I think the one over there was at 92% at the moment, so it's not far out. And that one there, see what I mean by it's not able to scoop over? Ooh, that's actually the first time it's done that little graphics bug thing since I reloaded the save and started redoing the work from yesterday rather. Let's just bring that one up. Bring it in towards me a little bit. Right, what is that on? That's on 93% over there. I want to bring it mostly onto the... Alright, I've filled that one. Oh, that's way too high. So I'm now losing pay dirt from that side. It's a little bit unfortunate, but there isn't anything I can do because I don't have a spare bucket. So that we're just going to have to accept that we're going to lose a little bit on that. I love the fact that they have finally lowered the price of the buckets. I thought that the price of the buckets, $20 per bucket, was a little bit steep, especially considering what the buckets look like. I mean, these buckets actually look like animal feed buckets that we get here in the UK. You get these buckets. Have I just gone and tipped a whole load more in the other one that's not actually processing? Yep, I have. I did. Right, we'll make sure that we bring it back this way just a little bit more this time. Just for this next load. Go on then. We can do this. We can actually do this without wasting anything. I'm absolutely sure of this. Well, that's my theory. Anyway, there we go. All the way over on this side. Now, what's going to happen next is it's going to say that I've got too much in there. And I've overloaded it and I'm wasting pay dirt that way. Well, I didn't that time. I'll just fill up this bucket and then we can start taking a look at the wave table and... Well, actually, we've got to go into town first, and we've got to get the Magnetite trailer, but then we can go and start processing all of these buckets of dirt and hopefully earn an absolute fortune in gold. And that's it there. Exactly 100% on the last bucket. It actually worked out really well. Okay, let's shut that bad boy down. There we go. And not fall in that hole. I really don't think I'd be able to get out of that hole. I think I would be stuck permanently, and that would be it. So we'll switch this one off, and we'll take that bucket with us. And tell you what, let's just drop the bucket there for a moment, and we can switch this one off as well. Remove that bucket. So what we're going to need to do is take this generator with us, and we can switch off a couple of these pumps. We'll switch that one off, and I'll switch this pump off here, but we're going to need the other two pumps running so that they can bring water to our machines. We're going to need those, so let's just drop that down there, and I'm going to need that hose pipe there. I don't want it hooked onto there. I want to just drop it down like that. And if I gather the hose, now the question is, can I actually coil it up? This one will coil up just fine, but will the other one be able to drag back underneath the wash plant there? That's the big question. I managed to put I fed it through there without any problems whatsoever, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to drag it back through. It doesn't look like it. Okay, so it's going to flick right the way through to this side. All right, let's try and wind it up from this side and see if that will work. Oh, it's worked okay from here. Excellent. So we've got that one, and we can bring that one through, and actually we're going to want that one down here. There's one thing that I would like to see is the ability to carry more than one thing at once, because this is just a small garden hose. I could carry several of these all at once without any problems whatsoever. So let's just run up here and plug the first one in on that side there. And I jump straight down here and put that one in on there. And, oh, that was the heap of spoil that came from the first wash plant that we were using, wasn't it? So if we could, yeah, I'd like to see a wheelbarrow. That would be pretty cool. If you had a wheelbarrow, you could put multiple hose pipes and a few other things in a wheelbarrow all at once. You could also use it on the small claim to move stuff around on there as well. I was talking about small things going on to the small claims, like a tier 1.5 type thing, and a lot of people have agreed with me on that one and sort of come up with various different ideas of different things that could be done with that. Right, let's turn that one on so that it's running. Well, it's not actually running yet, but it will be. It will be running. That one we can leave. Before I move the generator here, I will just top it up with fuel. So let's just open the cap, put that in. There's only a couple of percentage in there, and remove that one again and put you down there. Put the cap back on, and now I'm going to remove those two. Leave them there, and then we can carry this one with us and put it down here so that we can plug in the two small cables. Both the small cables are already here. All we got to do is... Actually, no, there's only one small cable because we can only use one out. There's only one outlet for small cables here at one time. You can... This generator, tiny little generator, will power those two huge, great big machines up there at the same time, but it doesn't have an outlet for two of these small machines. That seems a little bit weird to me. It should be the other way around, I would have thought, but still. That's how it is, so that's how they've made it, so that's how it is. And I'm pretty sure that's actually true to real life as well. You get sort of it that way round, which does seem a little bit odd, doesn't it? It does seem a little bit peculiar to have it that way round. Right, our next thing that we want is a Magnetite trailer, which we want to get before we actually start working. So we've got everything all lined up here already, and then we can go and just get going. So I'm actually going to switch off the other two pumps. Then I will drive into town and get a Magnetite trailer. And how many buckets we got? 3, 5, 10, 14 buckets of dirt to process. Excellent. That is fantastic. We've got 14 buckets to process here. I am really pleased about that. Now, given the quantities of stuff that we get from gold at the moment, or the quantities that I've heard reported back lately, 14 buckets is likely not to give us much more than about 14 ounces of gold, but still 14 ounces of gold is 14 ounces of gold. It's not to be sniffed at. You can't really complain too loudly at that, although all these pictures that I've seen of people running around with 999 ounce bars of gold, It's not going to happen to us in the near future. Now, apparently, different parts of the claim are now giving different quantities of gold. So maybe what we've got up here is going to give a decent quantity, whereas near the edge is not going to be so much. Now, is there anything else that I need? I'm not worried about the diesel because we've got a whole mobile we've got a whole trailer load of diesel over there, so we don't need to worry about that. Everything's switched off. I don't need more cables or anything. Maybe I could get some more generators to speed it up. No, I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, so I will see you in town. Oh, one thing I want to show you. See that? Those now brake when you drive over them. How awesome is that? And again. And I can tell you with certainty that when you reload the game, it actually resets them. So you can keep breaking those to your heart's content. How cool is that? Right, let's get ourselves a Magnetite trailer. And $5,000 that one costs, so we'll go and buy that one. Add. And go and pay for it. Several people have been talking to me about... no, I don't want two of those, I just want one. Let's just buy it. Been telling me that I should be getting some workers. Now, as far as I know, workers only work when you're not actually at the claim. And at the moment, we've only got one claim. When you get a second claim, you can start getting a load of workers and assigning them to different machines. And it's actually quite profitable. It does pay. With the update, they've changed the amount that workers can earn. And it does seem to work quite well. So I've seen sort of short video clips of other people using them since the update, and they do seem to work. It's definitely something that I'm planning to do. It's on my to-do list, but at the moment, it's not doing anything right. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to use this one at the moment. So let me just save and quit the set. What you got to do is I got to save the game and then quit and then come back in again, and it should work. Okay, I've got it to work, and what I actually had to do was not what I expected. The use point is a lot smaller than I first thought as well. It's got to be that piece on the top. But because it's up in the air like that, it wasn't actually working. I couldn't get it to work at all. Although now I see that it is just the piece on the top. It's not the whole hitch. But no, what I did was I climbed up on here, and if I can do it... a little bit more. There we go. I stood on top of it, and it pushed it. It actually pushed it down. So you as a person, you do actually have the weight to like push something down. But anyway, we've got that to work now, so we can head back towards the claim as soon as we get this bad boy started up. If it works, I'm going to start it, aren't I? There we go. Right, and handbrake off, and away we go. So we now have a Magnetite trailer. We've got $54,000 left, and the wheel loader, which is the next target of things to buy, is 97,000. So we need another, 45,000, 44,000. So we do need a reasonable amount of money. Once we get that, we'll then try the different approach to tier 2.5, and we'll be loading the 2 wash plants with the wheel loader rather than with the excavator, and just see how the two compare. And then our next step will be to set up the tier 3 wash plant. After that, we're then going to be looking at getting a second claim. And once we get the second claim, we can then start hiring a load of workers and getting the workers to start earning us gold. And they will earn gold at a continuous rate. It's been quite drastically increased, the amount that they are able to earn. I'm not quite sure what you pay them or anything like that. I've not looked into it at all yet, but that's going to be later on. I'm also not quite sure when we'll be able to get to it, but we will. We'll definitely get to it at some point. I'm not sure at the moment how long I'll be able to continue doing Gold Rush as a daily episode. We might have to move to every other day soon-ish, but yeah, that remains to be seen. We'll just sort of play it by ear. The really dangerous bit here, I'm going to go super slow because I really don't want this to bug out again. I really, really don't. I'm really quite nervous about coming in through there now. Okay, that's worked all right. So I will go and put this down near our buckets and stuff, and then I think it's about time I went to bed because it's starting to get late, and then we can hit this stuff in the morning. I'm just getting the pumps started up. There we go. And I'll get the generator started up, and then we are away. There we go. Get that one. Now, I'll probably have to turn this one back on again. Yeah, I will. Because we switched it off during the night. That one seems to be working all right. Just still, that one's just fine. I'll press stop just in case there's anything wrong with it. Right, so we got 49% on Magnetite. Let's dump the first one in. Let's see what happens. Can dump that bucket down there for a minute. And, oh, no, we do need to actually have it running. That would help. So people have been telling me that by putting the dirt back through, I get more gold. But so far, I've yet to see more gold turning up from this. So I'm not all that convinced. I got to be honest. I'm starting to wonder if this is actually the case, or if it's that we don't get so much gold. So let me just take that one out, and I'll put another bucket back in under here. So we're at 90% on gold. So let's just run this whole bucket down through. 90%, that says. And no, everything has gone straight back down through into the Magnetite. So I'm fairly convinced now that it doesn't matter if you run it through more than once. It's not going to... No. Oh, mistake. Did we waste any? Have we? Oh, yes, we have. Right, lesson to be learned there. I've just chucked away a whole load of gold. So make sure that you change the bucket before you do anything else. So we'll take that bucket and we'll put that one over there. And we'll take an empty bucket and we'll put it underneath. Oh, I can't believe I did that. You would think that it would... Well, I suppose no, it wouldn't. It's just going to keep going out. So, yeah. We've absolutely wasted a half a bucket of gold there. Which is a bit of a shame, but there's not a great deal that we can do about that. And it's coming up. So we're 76%. Look, we get about 10% in the Magnetite bucket each time. So there's 90%. We'll take this one out. And we'll put that one in under. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to take one of these 100% buckets and I'm going to put it over there. So that we can do a little experiment with the wave table in a little while. And we can sort of see what we're getting roughly from the wave table for these cleaned buckets, and then we'll also see what we get from a bucket that we haven't cleaned, and see if it makes any difference to the amount of gold we get. So is it just that the Magnetite, if you don't put it through the Magnetite separator, is completely wasted, or do you keep the Magnetite, or is like the Magnetite almost converted into gold? I suspect it's going to be completely wasted, but we will just do that as an experiment with one bucket just to see what it's like. I wouldn't like for anybody to say that I haven't covered all the bases here. And that is going to bring the Magnetite bucket up to 99%, if my calculations are correct. There we go, 99%. Right, so we've got 90% in the gold. So we'll take that one out, and we'll put that down there. And then we'll take the Magnetite bucket, and I am going to put that one through. Actually, I can't. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. There is a way. I can put a empty bucket under there, put one in... there, and take that one with the gold. Oop, no, other way around. I'll put that one into the dirt, and then that one is going to go into the gold, because that's the smaller percentage, 41%, and the other one is currently 0. This bucket is at 99% with Magnetite. So let's see if the idea that we can put it through and we can get more gold is actually going to do anything, or is that bucket going to go back to 99% and that one at 41%? Right, it's gone back to 99%, so we don't actually need to put it through multiple times. It's not going to give us any benefit whatsoever. Where's my Magnetite trailer gone? No way. No way. I left it parked over there. Has this one got a handbrake on it? It slid all the way down over to here and has ended up against the bottom here. I left it on the slope over there. And this is where it's ended up. It doesn't look like, though, it's got any kind of handbrake on it. So it shouldn't, in theory, have been able to run down the hill. I'll get the truck, and we're going to move it. I don't like the fact that it's sort of teetering on the edge of the pit down there. That's kind of worrying. So let's get this one started up, and we're going to try and get that one hooked up. We are going to have to drive over that hose. Well, I suppose we don't actually have to. We could just move it first, but yeah, I'm not going to. I'm just going to drive over it. Just ignore that bit if you don't like it. Stop. Right, I'm going to have to go forward a little bit from there, I think. It's very difficult to get this one just right. There, let's try... Actually, is that close enough or not? I'm not quite sure. I can stand on it. Ah, yes, it does work. The whole standing on it thing does work. That's actually really cool. I love the fact that that does actually work. That's brilliant. Okay, let's get this one out of that pit. And we'll just put it over here then. Actually, if I can bring it round this way, maybe that'll work better. But it doesn't really matter. It can just stay on the back of the truck, because we're going to try... Okay, go. Can you... I'm just spinning at the moment. Diff lock. We're going to have to use the diff lock. Which one is that? Or are we? I want to do this without the diff lock. I'm going to end up shredding the tyres, aren't I? And then I'm going to have to replace tyres. Okay, let's stop there. And this time we're going to leave it hitched on. We go and get the bit of magnetite that we got. Oh, yeah, the default speed. Your run is now default for running. And then if you press and hold shift, you walk. It used to be the other way around. For those of you who are not familiar with the changes that have been added into the latest patch. Right, so all we need to do is just put that one in there. It doesn't actually do anything different. One bucket is 10%, so you get 10 buckets in there. I think that you get about $1,000. Well, you get about $10,000 for the whole thing, so that would be about $1,000 per bucket of magnetite. So what do we got here? That's an empty bucket. The other one's at 41%. I don't want to have that one in there because it's going to end up losing gold for us. So let's get the next one, and we'll run that one through. No, not like that. Empty bucket underneath. Come on, Frith, you ought to be able to know how to do this by now. We've been through this several times now. I should be getting the hang of it. And we'll put that one down there. I'll get another bucket so that it's here and ready for us to use. Then 90 and 10% in magnetite. So we take the 10%, 90% one and put it there. Then I take an empty bucket, drop it underneath, and I drop that one in on the top. As soon as that one's out, there, get the next bucket. We're getting the hang of this now. We can soon process our way through all of it. So as soon as that one's done up to 90%, we can grab it out, dump it down here. We should be getting a nice quantity of gold when we're finished here. And I'm also quite looking forward to doing this little test that we've got on the wavetable to see how much gold we get with one that we don't take out the magnetite. I mean, I reckon it's just going to be that 10% of magnetite. So... well, if it's 10,000 for a trailer, that means it's 1,000 for a bucket. So we're looking at $100 per bucket. $100 per bucket of that, per bucket of the gold sludge, processed through the magnetite. We get an additional $100 from the sale of the magnetite per bucket that we process, which isn't too bad, really, considering the speed that we've got those buckets out of the wash plants up there. I reckon I spent maybe 30 minutes total processing those, and there have been people saying that the wheel loader is not that good. However, I've seen plenty of people actually using the wheel loader and showing what they've got from the wheel loader to lead me to believe that it's just kind of... you can't expect it to do too much. It doesn't do well climbing up hills, apparently, but if you can work it reasonably level... then it does a good job. So we will be trying that, and we'll sort of experiment and see what we can get out of it. I'm rather looking forward to doing that, actually, because I got a feeling that it's going to be easier and faster to control the wheel loader. Plus, I have a joystick right beside my computer here, and I'd like to map that onto the wheel loader. The reason I haven't mapped a joystick onto the excavator controls is because there's only one joystick, and... an excavator would need two, and yeah, I didn't really want to do it with just one. I just didn't think I'd be able to get on with it very well. So that's my excuse. Right, because we are running out of time, what I'm going to do is we're just going to finish processing this, and then we're going to take all the magnetite that we've got, and we're going to take that over to the magnetite factory, and we're going to see what we get for it. So my estimate is that we will get in the region of 1,700 gold for this. If it's 10,000 for a trailer load, we should get roughly 1,700 $1,700 for the magnetite that we've managed to extract from this lot. Because 1,800. We've got 80% on this bucket. So let's just move that one over there. You can switch off now. It would help if I press the other button. Actually, I'm going to want you over here anyway, so I can move that cable. Put that one on there like that. And take that bucket with me. Actually, I'm just going to drop that one there a second and switch this one off. I don't want to waste too much diesel. We'll go up here and switch that one off. I got 2 more running. Yeah, I'll leave them. I'm just going to leave them. Diesel's cheap. It's fine. It doesn't matter. Diesel's cheap. We'll top them up another time. So we've got 10% in here. If we put this in, that's going to give us 18%. There we go. 18% in there. And we'll run this over to that factory, and that is what you do with the magnetite, and that is what the magnetite factory is for. I was puzzling about this for the first few episodes, and it was really, really bugging me. I had no idea what I was supposed to do with this stuff and how it was supposed to work. Finally, I know. We got to take this to the magnetite factory, and then we can empty it out the back, just so long as we don't crash going out. That's going to be the next thing, is we've got to be very, very careful that we don't actually destroy the pickup or the trailer or anything else on this pile of rocks. Actually, I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to save the game just in case I've got to come back to this. There we go. Now we can see if we can get through. I'm not going to test it. I'm not going to test the crash capabilities. Oh, see what I mean? There's invisible walls coming off of these rocks that makes it very, very difficult to get through. And I really don't like that they've got that right there. It's a little pinch point that is potentially an absolute disaster for the game. You wouldn't believe how sort of heartbreaking. It's just like you get that sinking feeling. I mean, I suppose I should be grateful that it didn't completely crash while I was halfway through the recording, because that would have just been an absolute pain. I'd have had to redo everything. I still had to redo stuff, but it wasn't as bad, I thought. So we'll take this one over here, and we can empty this out, and what are we going to get for it? This is the next big thing. So we stop there. Just put the handbrake on. That one can stay running. Like I said, diesel's cheap. Doesn't matter. And all you got to do is just move that lever. So we're on 54,700. I reckon $1,800. So that's going to be 56.5. Use. There we go. 56.5. Yes. So it is exactly 10,000 for each one of these. Yeah, for a full one of these, so, or $100 per bucket. So there's answer. If anybody's ever had that question, that burning question, needed to know, now you know. You get $100 per bucket of magnetite that we process, because we get 10% every time we put a full bucket through. That's what every single time we put a full bucket through, we've had 10%. So when you process it, you get that 10%, and that's worth $100. So if you process, what is that? Yeah, that's well, 10 buckets processed is, so it's 100 buckets. Process 100 buckets of gold sludge out of the wash plants, and you end up with an additional $10,000. $10,000 per 100 buckets. That's pretty good. Right, let's just ease through here. So tomorrow we will go and we will start doing the actual wave table. And once we've done the weight, we're also going to test that one bucket that we didn't put through the magnetite separator, just to see if we get roughly the same amount of gold, or if we get a bonus amount of gold, or what. Is it worth... I mean, I think that the magnetite is just kind of lost if you do it like that, and you don't gain any extras. So that's my theory. But yeah, that's all to come tomorrow. So if you enjoyed this episode, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.